live? Oh. Okay, hi and welcome to this studio visit and art talk at Iris Smeds atelier here in Bredänge. This is a live stream from SSE Art Initiative, and that is Handelshögskolan i Stockholm's Art Initiative sending. We at the school, we work with art all year around in order to fulfill our educational mission, which is short and free. We want our students to when they graduate from us, to take decisions that are based on facts, the F, and the R stands for reflective decisions, and the 2 E's stands for empathic and entrepreneurial. So normally we do art talks every month at the school, but now, since the situation with the corona, we are obviously doing digital studio visits instead. So now, this coming hour, we are going to talk to Iris Smeds, who is also going to visit the school this autumn, but we will talk more about that later, and discuss her art and more specific a video that we will see in maybe 5 or 10 minutes, called Surreal Strategies to Apply on a Disillusioned Landscape. But now I will move my chair over there. Hi, Iris.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. So for those of you that don't know anything about you, how would you describe yourself as an artist?
I am an artist that works with performance and video and sculptures. Everything I do is text-based, more or less. I used to work with screenplays for theater. And now my latest project, I work with like a larger film project where I also made more sculptures than I have done before. I used to work a lot with performance lectures. Yeah. Mainly about art and economy.
Yeah.
And,
art and economy.
Yeah. Before.
So that's a theme in your...
It was a theme. It's moved a bit towards other aspects of life also. Mm?
And can you say something about the surrounding here?
Yes, this is my studio. And this is a loaf that I made to an exhibition where I had objects from the film The Average. And I made this as an Icaros bread. There's a character in the film that is Icaros, who has been burnt out and is recovering and tries to live a life where she is no longer on fire, and she thinks it's very boring. So she kind of misses the flames and try to understand how she can cope with being a normal, average person.
And this is her bread?
Yes, it's her bread. Exactly. I wanted to make like a loaf that was burnt on the inside.
And perfect on the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also a theme in your art, I think. Perfection and at least the perfect appearance.
Yeah, and the failing of that appearance. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's very hard to achieve perfection myself, so I struggle with that, I think. Yeah. And this is from I had an exhibition at Bonniers And for the opening, I did a performance called The Average Manifesto. And in the film, I have this scene where I have this Dali's melting clocks as tits.
Around your neck?
Yeah, around my neck. And this was kind of making them but bigger. And so I had them around me when I gave this manifesto. I read this manifesto. And now I'm stitching them up, and I'm gonna put silicone on them and make them into a sculpture.
Ah, so they will become hard?
They will become like this guy. Wait. Opa. This is a test, so it will be like mushy, but still has a surface. I am kind of experimenting, so it's a bit unclear, but something like that.
And how many artists are sharing this space here in Bredäng?
It's 5 artists. This room is me and Tove Dreiman, and who makes these beautiful works behind you that you can't see now. And then we have Frida Fjellman, Joakim Ojanen, and Magdalena Nilsson in that room.
So those are kind of your colleagues?
Yes, yes, they are.
And I also forgot to tell you that since this is a live stream, there is also a possibility of asking questions via the live stream, text-based questions. I will try to check that once in a while. But now over to this video actually that we thought was very suitable for the time being now. So it's about strategies that you can have or decide upon in times of crisis. Or how would you describe the video? What's happening in it?
There's not much happening. It's me. I'm lying in a cocoon, and I'm kind of trying to embody a feeling of being passive, or the feeling of wanting to hide, or like stay in bed.
There's something around you.
There's something around you, yeah. And I'm also where you like you feel like the world is in a way that you just want to like really lay down immediately and put something on top of you.
Yeah.
Maybe also crawl into a hole or like lay under a stone or.
That's normal.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. It's pretty normal, and it was. I made it for an exhibition that was called Varulv at Overgaden in Köpenhamn, and the theme for the exhibition was about like the crisis and how we see I don't know, like visions for the future, and it was from 2016, and so I thought about that and like how not having so many visions for the future in a way. So maybe that's why it's accurate now, because now there's really hard to have any visions because it's so uncertain. And so it's like a lack of a manifesto in a way.
Okay. Yeah, a lack of a plan.
Yeah, a lack of a plan, yeah.
And 2016, that was the crisis was about immigrants. Immigration.
Yes, I think that was the starting point, but it was like not so specific and not specific for this work, but for the economical crisis and the like also the environmental crisis,
Yes.
and the
All sorts of
and the economical crisis, and how you cope with the crisis mentality, and if what kind of forces that what do you say, play with people's fears for the crisis, and how you can I think the exhibition wanted to be another way that you don't have to be afraid for the crisis, the narrative of the crisis maybe.
And what about the surreal? Because the word surreal is also in the title, Surreal Strategies. What do you thoughts about that?
I was interested in the surrealism, and if you could work with that to as an in a way if the starting point was to be when you feel that maybe things you believed in are falling apart, then it's often you can see yourself maybe standing in a desert or something, a flat landscape. For me it became this standard surrealist landscape in times of when I had troubles understanding reality. And then I was interested in this working that maybe surrealism is not just not just a way to escape, but or work with but maybe a way to change reality, because it's so if you make images that is I don't know, but in a way in order to change reality.
Maybe we shall watch the video now.
Yes.
And then continue talking about helplessness as a strategy.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Hello. Hi. It's me. Yes. Here I am lying on the threshold between the future and the past. Like someone who is really, really present, but probably just asleep or super depressed. We do not really separate these two. Here on the threshold it all seems to be the same. From the front to the back, and from the back to the front. Anyhow, in the light of what has happened, as in the light of the summed up history, everything seems irrelevant. And there is no longer any point in talking about cause and effect. In the light of what has happened, there is only the light itself, lingering on like sleeping cats and particles of dust in the air that does not move. That light, before it got dark. You know, nothing really moves in this disillusioned landscape. Just history itself, still breathing like a sleeping child. And you know that you can break under her weight. But we have never been so far from the myth of creation as we are today, and never so close. It always seems to be the same procedure. Two units are colliding, as in two units are first separated, in order to later on collide. And in this separation the unit starts to create abilities that will make them able to identify themselves as units, and the sky slept with the sea. It will always be like this. It's how it started. It's how it will end. Maybe this could cure your depression, because it seems like you're waking up sad all the time. We're gonna form a new world. We know that the torture of the weak and the poor went on for too long. I think we started it because we were interested in the idea of cause and effect. But since we realized that the end and the beginning is the same, and that all separation leads to clashes, we kind of lost our interest in that. We are now looking for small tiny objects of glitter and cardboard boxes instead. We find that they have a pure nature and a calm heart. When everything falls and you can see clearly the landscape of the lies and the constructions of your mind fallen, you will be able to fill your heart with a new freedom. And for a moment you will lose the boundaries of reality. Yes, there is an opening there. Losing your memories of what happened. Yes, there is a light in there. Before it got dark. This is the unsold dream. It has no value. And nothing really exists in here. But there is a kindness to it. Since it does no longer matter if you feel that reality strikes you too hard or too soft. It's all the same. And yes, here I am, lying in front of the doorstep, looking for options. Maybe this can cure your depression, because it seems like you're having troubles waking up. We are going to form a new ideology, and this ideology will have no manifest, and no one will know its name. It will have no followers, and it will be impossible to sell. It's the air you breathe. It's the principle that you keep on breathing, and to some extent that you keep on moving, like history itself. Will everybody be free? Yes, everybody will be free. Will everybody be happy? Yes, everybody will be happy. Will everybody sing from their hearts? There will be no mouths. Will everybody walk together hand in hand? There will be no roads. The paradise of crisis has started to collect her bones. So you see, there is still hope for you to be a part of a greater collective. She is the unsold dream. She is the silk that got a desert to wrap around her. She is the landscape that got a body to be buried within. She is the body that does not remember a thing. And we have to believe in this, that the units will stop colliding if we stop separate them. And even though it's just a costume, we have to keep on playing this role. The world that gives birth to itself. And therein lies the myth of creation, like a monument over free will. Anyhow, lately it has occurred to me that I'm lying here all alone.
I want to ask you, how do you feel now when you watch the film again during this special time as the Corona crisis?
I think it was really fun to rewatch it, watch it, and it seems to be. I don't know really what it says about these times, but it has some kind of. It kind of makes sense in a way. Maybe more now. And it's also fun with this that you have to keep on breathing, because it's really about that, I think.
Just keep on breathing.
Yeah, I guess so, because it's like I saw now in the end, I say that also this like lying down in a cocoon and give birth to oneself and kind of like develop in that sense, and that you still maybe you think you are passive, because we talked about a strategy to be passive during a crisis, which is not only good but maybe can be good. I don't really know, but sometimes when you are passive, you are also giving birth to yourself, or you are like developing, or something new can come from that also.
Yeah.
And
like it also is the case with the cocoon in the nature.
Yeah, exactly. That you have to.
It's not only a shelter; it's also.
There's stuff happening.
Yes.
In there, and sometimes there is stuff happening when you are not active.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's like. I wouldn't go and say that this is a good strategy that you should have. I think it's always good to rest a lot.
Yeah.
But as a citizen, to be passive in a time is not always good.
No.
Either. I mean, you should.
So that's not the sense moral, so to say.
No, but it's still. I still. It's like also this sense of being forced to be passive, or don't knowing what you can do in order to like change the world, and being depressed by that. In a way. Yeah.
There is these sentences about that it's not much difference between being present, like maybe meditate or and being depressed.
Yeah. I think that's because when you are like inside the depression, you can sometimes be very like what you say dissociative to like your surrounding, but you can also be very present in your body, or you can really feel your body in another way, because you are so much in your body.
So you are present in one way, in yourself, but not present in society. But I have this question here. Question to Iris. Are artists better prepared for cocooning than others?
Yes.
You think so, yeah?
Yeah. I really think so. That's like one thing that we actually have that is really good.
So why?
Because we can work. Our practice is within ourselves in a way, and we can build up worlds in solitude and in isolation. And often we need other people also, but it's I think that a lot of artists work from a place of being bored and alone. So it's kind of a setting that is... But of course it depends super much on how you like to live your life.
So that's actually a strategy that you and other artists use all the time. Solitude and...
Yes, I would say.
So can you help us making the best of our cocooning?
You should... I mean, of course you should... it's always good if you are restless and bored to try to do new stuff. And I mean, I think people are trying a lot of different stuff. I think it's very good to write, even if you don't do it, or you don't have like done it, but just like, and it doesn't have to be like a journal, like today I did this and this, but just force yourself to write 1 page each day and see what comes up. And try also like more automatic writing, that you just put your pen down and start to write. And of course you can do the same with drawing, but I think it's very good to write, because you can come closer to stuff in yourself.
You have some papers here.
Yes.
With
they are not Corona papers.
No.
But yes.
Yeah. It's a kind of writing that's... I mean, it's 4 words, for example, on one picture over here. A free... Can you...
A free market inside the head. Yeah. Yes, this is more notes than writing. Okay. This is a part of my process when I'm working. And this is actually some notes that is from this performance lecture about being burned out, that I'm gonna hold at Handels. And it's
so it's sentences that...
It's sentences that I like wonder about this... I wonder about freedom and what happens when the boundaries of the body, I think, and to break the boundaries of the body. And I wonder if we believe that there are no boundaries in the outside world, if that makes us push our boundaries in the body more. So it's about breaking the body and mind in a way.
Okay, so and that's connecting, for example, the free market with...
A bit. With the inner market.
Inner market, yes.
Could say. And but I'm still working on this, so it's not super clear yet.
So what do you mean when you say the inner market?
I think it's like if you consider your body as, or your like person as a machine or something, or a system in itself, where an organism, where you are like maybe paying by the body to achieve different things, and then you have to pay, I don't know, use the body as like an not as like to pay for your actions in a way. For me it's very much also, I have diabetes type 1 since I was a child, for 30 years now, and it's so I have to also measure my blood sugar all the time, and it's also I have to have a balance, and it goes up and down. So I think it's like my blood sugar levels are like the market almost. It's like I have to have this index, and it's like moving, and I have to give it different. I have to give it medicine, or I have to give it food, and I have to make it function. I have to work with it all the time, 24/7.
You measure it as we measure performance and
yeah,
other stuff
a
in
bit.
society.
I think I have. It's been. I think actually that's where the project average came from also, like this mean value that you. That's like my ingång, my starting point. More and more is how the sense of seeing your body's functions from the outside, in a way. It's pretty new for me to reflect. I haven't done much work about that in art before.
But average is a good thing when it comes to diabetes, I guess.
Yes, it is. It's like
Yes.
this.
And what about being average in the rest of the world?
I think it's good. I think there is a very positive there's a lot of positivity with being average. I think it could be a sustainable way for us to live, to be more average, and to not to be okay with that.
Averageness as a strategy.
Yeah, averageness as a strategy, exactly.
And I also have another question here, which is surrealism is much about dreaming. How do you dream?
I don't, dream in nights, or I don't have this super wicked, strong dream life. I dream pretty normally.
In the nighttime?
Yeah, in the nighttime. Yeah. But then, but I have some dreams, or like more like awake dreams. That was really much with the film. I had these kind of more awake dreams, or it's not dreams. It's more like seeing pictures or making them up. And I had this thing also with this sense of this flat landscape.
Yeah, the desert landscape.
The desert landscape, yeah. That I never really showed, or I mean, I lie in a hallway in this film, so there's no desert landscape. But for me, that has been quite återkommande. This more
frequent.
Yeah, frequent. This more eggshell-ish landscape.
Eggshell-ish.
Yeah, like a lot of crushed eggshells.
Okay.
Quite. So that's. I think I wander off a bit. I mean, as a if you like. I think that's a part of being an artist. Also, is that you. And I also thought about that when I came to the studio and I walked out the subway, that I thought this thing in front of the clock in the subway, I thought was flowers, and it was bird shit. and it just I can sometimes have very low standards, or very low for, like, well, how do you say, like a bad sense of what is how that would be logical. I just accept. You can say that I accept the imagery that I see. I accept the image that I see as for real. I don't question it so much in like day-to-day life. If my mind reads that, okay, that's a flower, I don't like second guess it. Like, but why would it be a flower there? And so I would be a really bad agent.
Or cleaner.
Or clean, yeah. super bad. Yeah.
But let's talk about words. They seem super important for you in your job as an artist. And the movie that we just saw is more or less a long poem for me. There are some beautiful sentences and
yeah, it is a long poem.
Yeah. So do you start there or?
Yes. Or maybe I start with like an idea that I want to. Often I start, I think, with a title. So yes, it's very often that it's the words come first. And then maybe there comes the, like, I want to lay down in a cocoon on a doorstep or a threshold. And that comes, and then I write the script. And I've been in all my work, I've been like writing scripts for everything. Even in performances and everything, it's like text. And it's pretty much like holding monologues in a way. It's like writing text, then learning text, and then performing text. So the performance is very much a narrative, like an oral text.
Because you also start with "This is me."
Yeah, that's is because I did a lot of works where I started with, "Hello, my name is Iris Smeds, and I would like to talk to you about this and this and this." And I think in this particular work, I was so tired. I had this feeling in kind of sleepy feeling in my body, and I was more like, yeah, it's me again. I'm not even gonna say my name. It's like we're beyond that. We're just like lying down. We don't even have to like greet each other properly. It's just like, yeah, it's me again, and this is now. I'm just gonna say this.
And because even if you are super passive, you are also very active.
Yes.
In the movie. I mean, you're doing an art movie.
Yeah.
And you really want to say something.
Yes. I really, I want to say something. And yes, I took the effort to write it down and say it.
And what about the word threshold?
Yeah, I wondered about that, and it came when I looked it up. It's because that was I remember that I thought about that a lot, and now that I looked it up, it was this dictionary that said that it's the point where when you start to experience something, or where something starts to happen. So it's like the point where something starts to be a part of your experience, I guess. And there is something about that that is interesting, because you can wonder what is that thing before it's hit that point also. And that's why I wanted to be at that, take that like literary. I think the image in the background is like a Google image of a how do you change your threshold, or it's like, I think it's like a commercial image. And I wanted to be on that like exact point where you maybe wake up, or you're like on the tipping point in your passive state, I guess. Yes.
Because in a way you are always on the threshold between
experience.
And,
Exactly. You're always in the now.
Yes,
and
between the past and the future. And there is this beautiful sentence where you describe the history as a baby breathing.
Yeah.
That's poetic.
That's poetic, yeah.
And there is also this this other thing in the video about a dream that cannot be sold.
Yes.
So that's connected to economy in a way.
Yeah, that was kind of I was like, when I started this project, I was the big title was like The Unsold Dreams, and so it was really about the unsold dreams in the beginning. And if we could dreams that cannot be sold actually, or that maybe it's not about improving, I guess.
In a traditional sense.
Yeah, in a traditional sense. And maybe it's like all I don't know, maybe like all dreams are in a way for sale, so the unsold dream isn't even a dream. It's like it's a state that is not so popular. Because I also talk about this, that it has no followers and it has no leaders.
The dream.
The dream. So it's like a kind of a nothingness. And maybe that's why it can stay, not get corrupted in a way. Maybe the unsold dream.
No one is investing in it.
Yeah, maybe the unsold dream is a dream that cannot get corrupted by stuff.
And that must also be connected to your thoughts about art and value and unsellable art in a way.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that and your thoughts about your value as an artist and the value of your art.
Yeah, I've been working, because I have been, it's like what's the hen and what's the egg. It's like, because I've been working so much with performance, which is, it's not a sellable object.
No.
What it can become sellable, but then it has to go so far that it is your name that is sellable.
The artist's name.
Yeah. Like you become so famous that you can make money from, or make big money, because otherwise as a performance artist you don't make so big money.
Because the performance disappears when you go away, or?
Yeah, and it's not a sellable object.
No.
So it's quite hard to sell. And that's also something I have found being very beautiful about performance, or about unsellable objects, or the unsellable art. But then it's also, I think that I think that all art is, I mean, as I said before, even performance art is sellable, and all art is sellable, and that's a part of art's nature, that you can sell it. And I think that's quite important to also understand. And for me, it took a while to understand it. And there is something about art that is about somebody wanting to, I don't know, pay for something that some other person did. It's a part of art's nature. So it's not only like the art market is a violation to art. I think that there is something in the nature of art that is that is sellable, and yeah, and but then you can. It's very boring, I think, when that impacts or influences art.
So it's also a matter of freedom for you, or?
Yeah, it has been, but then I'm also like on a way as an artist to do more objects and being more sellable also because I'm getting older, and I'm having I think I'm also turning by age and by not being so. I moved away more and more from the performative form of doing art, and maybe by doing movies instead of doing film, it's not like so unsellable as a performance, because it still makes a copy of something. It's like it is somehow something in the world, and it's also you can also get another type of funding for it, so you get more money from it. So I'm super interested in money.
Tell me more.
Yeah. No, and how to make money as an artist. Then I have made some choices, so it's been where I have really put that side of it as far away from me as possible.
Before or still?
Before more. I think it's just it's more uppluckrat. Yeah. Before it was also a way to position myself, I think. To be I'm not a part of that world that sells and buys art. I'm part of this world where everything is free. And that was a way for me to work and live and being happy and not being a failed artist, because I didn't sell. So you also have to create the surrounding around you to suit where you are, in a way, in order to achieve a calmer way of living, in a way, I guess. And now it's because I have been working as an artist since over 10 years. So then you starting more and more to be a part of that market anyway. I mean, if you're in the rooms, you're also in the market. You cannot separate the market in that way. But for me, it was very important when I started to be more separated from the market.
But you spoke about this not being a failure.
Yeah.
Did I understand that right? I'm not producing sellable art, but I'm not failing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's as a failing. I worked also with this aesthetic of failure, that it's also like a way of to create your own world, where it's what would be considered to be a failure in other worlds is there a normal state.
That's also the case in the movie. We saw, in a way, I think a lot of people would say that helplessness and passiveness is not like a good way to cope with the crisis. You should like do something and go out there and call people.
Yeah, don't go into the
That's really another theme in your artistry, in you as an artist, dealing with pictures of success versus failure. Why are artists, not you of course, so stuck in fighting money, economy, business, instead of using its powers to change the world?
I think that many artists believe that the way money is used, business is used today, is something that is bad with the world. And that by using the powers, you would be a part of what you believe is bad in the world.
You are black belt of artist Aikido.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. But it's a celebration of lagom, ? Hurra för medelsvensson. Amazing. This is really not what we teach about innovation and creativity. This would make a great master class in management.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting jobs here. Good.
Yeah. That's good feedback. More average, more sustainable. What a fantastic idea.